Good evening. I call the June 10th, 2025 regular board meeting of the Richland 2 Board of Trustees to order. The agenda for tonight's meeting has been published and made available. May I please have a motion regarding the approval of the agenda?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mrs. Porter.
I move to approve the agenda for the June 10th, 2025 regular board meeting with the exception of items 3.2 and 7.1, student appeals, as no student appeals were submitted for the board's consideration.
Okay, the motion has been made by Mrs. Porter. Is there a second?
Second.
The motion has been made by Mrs. Porter and seconded by Mrs. Williams to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Seeing none, board members, please vote. It's my understanding that Mrs. Nash is on her way. I'm waiting for a pop-up. I don't have one. Did everyone else receive one? Well, I'll just do a hand vote. I'm voting in the affirmative. And Mr. Trapp as well. So the vote is 7 yes, 0 no. The motion passes. We will now move to item 3.1, executive session. May I have a motion to go into executive session?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mrs. Washington?
I move to convene an executive session for the purpose of discussing student admission requests into the district's adult education program and employment recommendations and certified releases.
The motion has been made by Mrs. Washington. Is there a second?
Second.
The motion has been made by Mrs. Washington and seconded by Mr. Dennis to go into executive session. Ms. Washington, please check the motion. Okay, it is correct. Board members, is there any discussion? Seeing none, board members, please vote. Ms. Nash, you can vote, do a hand vote. Oh, you, okay. What's going on with my thing? And I think I'll do a hand vote and just log out and come back in. So I'm voting in the affirmative. The vote is 7 yes, 0 no. The motion passes. The board will now enter into executive session. Good evening. May I have a motion to end the executive session?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mrs. Porter.
I move that we adjourn to executive session at 5:45 p.m. and resume public session at 6:30.
The motion has been made by Mrs. Porter. Is there a second?
Second.
The motion has been made by Mrs. Porter, seconded by Mr. Dennis to end executive session at 5:45 p.m. and resume public session. Is there any discussion? Board members, any discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Do we have any chairs that we can get the people that's in the back? Is there any way we could try to find them some seating, if you guys don't mind? You guys are still growing? Okay, so you can stand, absolutely. You're welcome. Okay, it didn't come up for me. Can you come help? Did everyone get a pop-up? Mr. Trapp, did you get one this time? Okay, I guess I'm the only one that doesn't have one. I'm wondering if I'm on. Am I in?
Or just completely reload.
Okay, I'll just do a hand vote, yes and affirmative, and we'll. Okay, thank you.
Go ahead and relog in and see if it pops up.
Absolutely. The vote is 7 yes, 0 no. The motion passes. We will now move to item 4.1, Inspirational Moment, Pledge of Allegiance. Mrs. Nash will present this evening to the board. Mrs. Nash?
Well, good evening, everyone. I am super excited to have Windsor Elementary Safety Patrol and their fearless leader, Deputy Tamika McFarland, here today. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. I want to say, one, I had the opportunity to do safety patrol with them, and I had the time of my life. They are so welcoming when you get to school and just their organization. And so I'll tell you a little bit about her, and then she can come up and tell you more about safety patrol. Ms. McFarland, Deputy McFarland, brings a strong cultural foundation and a passion for service to her role in law enforcement. She holds a bachelor's degree in criminology and criminal justice, as well as a master's degree in forensic psychology, combining academic excellence with deep understanding of human behavior and the justice system. Deputy McFarland currently serves as the school resource officer at Windsor Elementary, where she is committed to creating a safe, supportive, and positive environment for students and staff. Her role reflects both her dedication to public safety and her belief in the power of community engagement. Outside of her professional responsibilities, Deputy McFarland enjoys cooking, especially traditional Jamaican dishes, baking, reading, and staying active through regular workouts. Her diverse interests and approachable nature make her a valued member of both the school and broader community, and I 100% am so glad to have you here. Well, welcome, Deputy McFarland and the Windsor Safety Patrol.
Thank you so much for having me. So I came to Windsor this past school year, first time, as a school resource officer, and I knew I wanted to implement Safety Patrol because it is a life-saving program sponsored by AAA. It is over 100 years old. It's been around since the 1920s, and there's about 679,000 safety patrollers across the United States, and over 35,000 schools across the United States. At Windsor Elementary, I implemented the program fresh. In the beginning of the school year, we started in October. We had 45 safety patrollers. Most of them graduated, fifth graders, and we just got 28 more. They are responsible for working in the bus loop. They work in the car rider line. They greet parents at the front door. They keep the cafeteria organized both in the morning and in the afternoon. And they also work in the 4 different communities at Windsor. A fun fact about our safety patrol, since it was very new, our principal Savage, came up to me one day and she was like, Deputy Mac, I have to tell you something fun. She was like, I saw 2 little kids. They were youngins, kinder, and they said, we were gonna run in the hallway, but we saw the safety patrollers and we didn't. So they are making a difference, and they are keeping the school safe, and we will be back in the this upcoming school year. I brought 2 safety patrollers with me because why hear from me when you can hear from them? So I have 2 captains with me, Captain Devin Wine and Captain Madison Graham, and they can tell you what impact Safety Patrol has had for them this past school year. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me. Today I will be telling you guys what Safety Patrol has helped me. Safety Patrol has helped me be a leader. Safety Patrol has helped me be independent, and it has helped me by being comfortable with other people. Hello, my name is Madison Graham from Windsor. Safety Patrol has helped me be more confident in my school environment. It helped me become a better helper, a better reader. It just helped me become better in my confidence. Thank you.
And will you guys lead us in the pledge for us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much.
I want to say thank you so much, and I'm going to tell a quick story. Let me tell you, I attended, as a child, Burton Elementary School, which is now Burton Pack, and I wanted to become a safety patrol so bad. They would not allow me, thank you, Richland School District 1. No, I'm just, but they would not allow me to become a safety patrol because they had a policy back in the day that if you were a walker, and of course I walked to school, that you could not be a safety patrol. Well, let me tell you, don't let people tell you what you cannot be, because you can become anything you want. Fast forward, later I became the principal at Wesley Elementary School. Guess what? I was an honorary safety patrol. And I was so, let me tell you, I was so excited about that. And you just never know what people are going through. Because let me tell you, I was so excited. I shared it with my friend, Representative Leon Howard, if you guys know him. And he said, no, I was a walker. They wouldn't let me be a safety patrol either. You know what we did? We invited him to the school, and we made him an honorary safety patrol. So you guys are so dear to my heart, and I'm coming to visit your school and take a picture with you because I still have my white belt, and I was the captain too. So thank you so very much. I do appreciate that. We're going to continue to move on. Thank you so much. We will now move to public participation. Oh, I'm skipping. Okay, let me go back. I got so excited about safety patrol till I forgot. Okay, we will now move to item 5.1. May I please have a motion regarding the approval of the consent agenda?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mrs. Washington?
I move to approve the consent agenda for the June 10th, 2025 regular board meeting.
The motion has been made by Mrs. Washington. Is there a second?
Second.
The motion has been made by Mrs. Washington and seconded by Mr. Dennis. Is there any discussion? Board members, any discussion? Seeing none, please vote. The vote is 7 yes, 0 no. The motion passes. We would now move to item 6.1, public participation. We do have 4 people who have signed up to address the board. You will each be given 3 minutes to address the board. To assist with timing, the lights on the table in front of me will change colors from green to yellow to red. When you have 30 seconds remaining, the light will turn yellow. When your time is up, the light will turn red and you will hear a tone indicating your time to speak has expired. Before we begin, I will remind you that our meetings are streamed live and recorded. According to policy BEDH, comments from the public should not include gossip, defamatory words, abusive or vulgar language. The policy also prohibits in public session any expression of personal complaints about individual school personnel or any other personnel issues should be handled through the appropriate procedure as indicated in the district policy. With that being said, we will start, and let me just apologize in advance if I mispronounce your name. We will start with the first person signed up, and that will be Mr. Earl Chestnut. Okay.
Good evening. Thank you for having us. I just wanted to come in and speak with you all about our program that we have. It's called Max Speed Performance and Fitness, as well as we have another program called Team Blaze Track Club. We have been working close with the district for the past 4 years. We've been practicing at Spring Valley High School. It's been, from the past year, it's been very complicated to be able to continue those practice with these kids, and majority of them are District 2 kids. We had to tell the kids today they didn't have practice, they can't have practice this week until we come to an agreement. We were just wanting to take the time to work with the district and be able to come up with solutions for these kids to be able to continue to practice because they represent South Carolina for AAU, and USATF track and field. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chestnut. Next, we will have Mr. Nate Gant.
Good evening to Dr. Moore, Dr. Scott, to the board. Just trying to see if we can get your support as a track club. We've been established since 2008. A lot of the champions that you see coming to the District 2 has come from Team Blaze Track Club. We take up our summers. You see, I got a lot of parents, a lot of kids that's in Richland too. We getting some pushback, a lot of negativity on us trying to present a positive environment to the community. You know, these are your kids, and we just need help from the board because we're getting pushback, and we're trying to present a positive environment, and it's safe for the kids. And you know, in Richland too, I'm an assistant coach at Westwood, and you know, keeping kids out of trouble in high school it's a tall task. And so to see this pushback coming from some folks that's within the Richland County, and which I'm a part of, that's very disappointing and hurting to me. I can't believe that those guys would try to eliminate something positive in the community. Now, and then when they're doing something negative, then they have things to say. And so I just need for the board, I need your help for us to continue to have our program. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Warren Ewell.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening. Sorry about taking a little long getting up here. I forgot how old I was, and I was over here running around like I'm still one of these young kids. But I'm going to do all right. So I definitely wanted to make sure I came up and expressed my gratitude on behalf of Max Speed, which definitely provides a lot of service to not only these young kids for Team Blaze, but for the community. And I can almost say not just our community, but for the state. You know, I think everyone that is consider themselves 90s babies, I'm gonna put everybody in one little group there. We didn't have things like this growing up, right? To where we can provide guidance for these young individuals to propel them not only for the sports world, but for life. And I think that's what Mr. Chestnut, Mr. Nate Gant, that's pretty much what we're looking for to do here, right? Guide these young kids in a way that when they become young men and young women, right, they are suitable for the community, and we're doing things the right way. And I think we all can agree that every small step can lead to big changes, and that's all that we're trying to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Miss Ashley Knoll.
Good evening. I am Dr. Ashley Knoll, professor and co-director of a Health Education Research and Training Center at South Carolina State University. But today I'm here as a parent on behalf of Team Blaze Track Club, a youth organization committed to developing and not just strong athletes, but strong, focused, and resilient young people. Team Blaze is more than a track club. We are a family, a mentoring space, and a launching pad for youth who are striving to reach their full potential. Our athletes train hard, stay academically accountable, and learn life skills like discipline, teamwork, perseverance, qualities that will help them succeed beyond the track. In fact, we are hosting a Pass the Baton relay track meet this weekend in honor of infant and maternal health. But today, we are here asking to be able to continue using Spring Valley High School's track. This support will be an incredible investment in the well-being and future of local youth, many of whom live in this area, go to neighboring schools, and may one day become Spring Valley students themselves. For many families, financial barriers often limit access to high-quality athletic programs. By opening Spring Valley's track to Team Blaze, you're giving kids a safe, structured, and positive environment to train, and more importantly, to grow. Our district is known for academic excellence, athletic achievement, and community spirit. In fact, Team Blaze has produced numerous nationally ranked athletes, many of whom which competed this year at the South Carolina Track and Field High School Championships and won. What better way to continue that tradition by partnering with a team that shares your values and is committed to uplifting the next generation? We aren't asking for funding, we're asking for partnership, for belief in the power of youth and the role we all play in shaping their path. Thank you for your time and considering to make a long-lasting impact in our community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Knoll, and I do apologize that initially they didn't have that on there. You've earned it, you should be called that, so I do apologize for that. Thank you guys so much. We will now move to item 7.2, student admission request into the district's adult education program. May I please have a motion regarding the student's admission request into the district's adult education program?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Dennis.
I move to approve the student admission request into the district's adult education program for student number 1.
The motion has been made by Mr. Dennis. Is there a second?
Second.
The motion has been made by Mr. Dennis, seconded by Mrs. Nash. Is there any discussion? Board members, any discussion? Seeing none, please vote. The vote is 7 yes, 0 no. The motion passes. I will now move to item 7.3, employment recommendations and certified releases. May I please have a motion regarding employment recommendations and certified releases?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mrs. Washington.
I move to approve the employment recommendations and certified releases as presented.
The motion has been made by Mrs. Washington. Is there a second?
Second.
The motion has been made by Mrs. Washington and seconded by Mr. Dennis. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, board members, please vote. The vote is 7 yes, 0 no. The motion passes. We will now move to item 8.1, operations update, transportation report. I will now pass it to Dr. Moore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, I'd like to introduce Mr. Will Anderson, our Chief of Operations, to present to the board an update on transportation. He always has some very nice and interesting facts to share.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you all for being here. Today, we're going to give you a brief overview on our transportation department, tell you some of the successes this year, some of our challenges, and what's forward. Mr. Robert White, who's our Director of Transportation, is on vacation, and he said if I asked him to come back, his wife would kill him. And so Mr. White is rightfully so on vacation this week. So we got a team here that's going to help. So I'm going to do the first part and turn it over to some of our transportation staff. Just real quick, some data you can see on the screen here. For the first time in a very long time, we are almost 100% staffed across the board. 63% activity, which is a good thing. We're up from last year. We're still recruiting activity officers. Those authorized positions, are basically include drivers and monitors in the student transportation specialists, and then we're down currently 2 positions that includes our routers, our supervisors, et cetera. A couple of key facts you can see this year, we do 791 miles a day. We drove 16,044,864 miles, and if you can see that, that was 644.4 times around the earth. Is how many times our buses went around the earth this year. Some other things to know about the district: we have 151 state-owned buses. 37 of them are propane, and all the propane buses are at the Killian Bus Hub. The state has done a really good job over the last several years of doing a replacement cycle, so we're now 31 are in the 9 to 12 year age. The rest are below that age. We have 45 Richland 2 buses. 22 are in a 10 to 24 age cycle. We're also on a 15-year replacement cycle. We just, as many of you are aware, in the last 4 years, 5 years, we've purchased 25 buses through bond funds. So thankfully, the bond funds allowed our age to drastically reduce, but can still see we have 22 that fall within that 10 to 24 year cycle. So turning it over about our routes, I'm going to turn it over to Jasmine James. Jasmine is our transportation routing and GIS specialist. Jasmine?
Adjust the mic to me. Good afternoon, everyone. So just a little briefing on our bus routes. As you can see, for bus stops and bus routes, we do the same criteria. We consider our students, the age of our students, the total number of students that are in the area, and the walking distance that they may have to travel to the stop or the route. We consider the road conditions, which is narrow shoulders, sidewalks, traffic, etc. We also have to take in consideration the safety of the bus stop area. And all of our bus stops and routes are strategically placed to meet the needs of students and the neighborhood/subdivision. So hazardous routes, a student within 1.5 miles of a school that he or she is zoned for is ineligible for transportation if they live within 1.5 miles of the school. Now, for Richland School District 2, we do 1.5 miles. The state of South Carolina is 2 miles. So we do give that 0.5 mileage to our students. The hazardous bus stops, 0.2 of a mile from each other is considered hazardous. All of our bus stops have to be in a longer distance than that. Students living less than 0.3 of a mile from a route must meet the bus at the route. So as long as they're not walking 0.3 of a mile, but less than 0.2 of a mile, we're okay. And I'm going to turn it over to Frank Celestine.
Okay. Good evening. The maintenance of our buses, we have state buses. We also have the district buses. For our state buses, the state pays for the maintenance and for the fuel for the buses. Also for the district pays for the maintenance of our buses and also the fuel of our buses. All of our buses, state and district, are equipped with cameras on the buses. The cameras aid in the safety for the driver, also the students. It also aids in helping us with discipline issues on the buses. Also, all buses have live view capabilities where we can view them from our office on our desktop. Also, with the insurance of the buses, the state will pay for the state insurance, state buses, and the district will pay for the district buses. Also, if we have any accident on these buses, Highway Patrol, we do call Highway Patrol. They will come and assist in any accidents that we have. Also, we have a driver training section in the district, within the district, which train anyone that's qualified that want to be a bus driver. We have a driver training section that will train them. Our manager for that section is Ms. Jody Regis. Ms. Jody Regis also has 3 certified trainers. They will assist in them getting their CDL, but you have to come with your permit. Once you have your permit, they will train you to get your CDL. They'll ensure that all candidates are in compliance with the state, the DOT, and DMV rules and regulations. They'll also ensure that the candidates are enrolled in compliance with Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, also the CDL, also drug and alcohol screening. Those testers are certified third-party testers to where we do not have to take someone to the DMV to get them tested. They'll get tested within the district. They have routes that they'll take them on, and they'll get tested within the district so they don't have to go to the DMV. Also, they'll do their annual certification and training, and also that section will also ensure that all Richland student transportation specialists stay in compliance with annual training, also ensure that their DOT physicals and states are up to date. Our accomplishments, our staffing has increased. If you'll notice, a few years ago, 2017, I was a bus driver, and we didn't have that many drivers, so we were late getting to school, we were late getting to stops, picking up students. But if you fast forward to this year, we have more than enough staffing. We get to school on time. We get to the bus stops as on time as possible. Also, we also have stop arms. Stop arm violation, the stop arms have cameras on some of the buses now, the newer buses we're getting. And what that'll help is when the bus is getting the bus stops, picking up students, letting students off, if we get any cars, trucks, whatever they may be, will pass by the bus, the camera can catch it. The highway patrol works with us, so we'll send those videos to the highway patrol. They'll get the driver's license or the license plate. And once they do that, they will verify who it is. Sometimes they'll set up to see who's continuing going there, and they'll also issue citations, which will help us out to bring down that from passing up the buses. Also, we have our RFID project, My Ride K-12 bus app, also Tyler Drive tablets will be explained to you in a few seconds by Ms. Jasmine James. Thank you.
Good evening. Talk about the many challenges that we have in transportation this past year. We want to talk about our return students or pre-K and kindergarten students, which we had 243 students return to the schools this year. And a lot of times it's because of parents not being at the bus stop for whatever reason, or having an authorized person who is authorized to receive the students at the bus stop. However, we do have what we call our escort forms that we have in regards to the students being received at the bus stops, and parents are required to go in and actually enter that information of authorized individuals who can receive the students at the bus stop. And so with that being said, we go in based on Power Schools information and update the information and give it to our drivers so they can have the accurate information when they get to a bus stop, having the ID shown by the parent to prove who they are or the person who's picking up the student, so we can verify that information on our escort forms. So this is our manner in check and balance to make sure that we make sure students are going to the right person or being authorized getting off the bus. And in that manner, our pre-K and kindergarten students are always and should always be at the front of the bus, because being that they're much smaller students, we are obligated to make sure that we have their safety first. Even if they have a sibling on the bus, we want to make sure that those students are being kept safe, and then they can join together after they leave the bus when they're being unloaded at their particular bus stops. We want to talk about reducing hazardous stops. I won't delve into this too much. The information is before you, but the South Carolina Department of Education has waived $86,623 last year for an invoice that we should have paid, but it was waived. However, moving forward this year, in the next 25-26 school year, that aspect will not be waived this year. So we have to make sure with our hazard stops, we do have our supervisors. I know at Killian Hub and the R&E Hub with Mr. Celestine, we have our supervisors this summer going out, identifying those stops, making sure that we don't have stops that we should not have too close to each other or in unauthorized areas, in order to mitigate that problem and get that problem quelled, so we won't have it going forward as a district in turn or incurred fee that we should be paying when we can do something about it to correct that matter. Reducing at-fault accidents. Reducing at-fault accidents, it's going to increase from this past year, what it has been in the past of $500. However, it's moving to $2,500 in regards to the fee if a driver is at fault at an accident. And it doesn't always mean a vehicle hitting another vehicle, such as a community stakeholder, but what it does mean is that those examples of hitting a mailbox or hitting a stop sign, or those things, hitting a school awning, and also sometimes when buses proceed to leave from schools in the afternoon, those buses or bus-to-bus accidents, sometimes those incur as well. So we're doing things within the department, as Mr. Celestine mentioned, in regards to the training of our drivers to make sure we get more extensive training for them, and it'll be shared as later in another slide as well. Additional challenges that we have is contractual agreements. As we grow, as the area grow in the Northeast area and the Blythewood area, we have homes being built everywhere, and that requires us as transportation to submit what we call R43s, buses, additional buses for our fleet in order to accommodate those students that are moving into those areas. And what we're talking about with contractual agreements, we're talking about it has risen in the last 3 years from 6 to 8%. With that being risen in cost effectiveness because of the growth of this area, it incurs us to have to purchase radios and camera systems for those buses in order to be properly equipped to transport students safely and efficiently daily. And this also reaches the fact of our activity buses replacement, which it runs about $150,000 to purchase one bus. And that's for our activity fleet, that district-owned buses. And we were talking about, and I won't get into all the numbers here, but as before you see the repairs and maintenance fees, the technical purchases for our buses, also supplies that have to be the upkeep of our buses as well, and certainly our fuel and those things that are mentioned. And so I just wanted to mention too, those are the challenges, but we're working hard in transportation in order to come up with solutions, not just recognizing the challenges in order to come up with ways to be creative in order to how we can address these issues to incur and cut the costs. At this time, I'm sorry, one more. And we want to talk about behavior on buses, and I'll be very brief with this, but we talk about the major and the minor. And the major would be when we're talking about weapons, we're talking about drugs, we're talking about fighting on buses when it incurs lynching of two or more students on a bus, or we talk about minor offenses such as profanity, refusal to obey, getting on at the wrong bus stop when you've been told to get on at the correct bus stop, which we don't refuse a student getting on in the mornings. We transport all students, but we deal with those issues at a later time to make sure students are transported safely. However, to give you an example of a teacher in the classroom, their classroom is stationary. Their classroom is where they can go touch, feel, and grab and say, hey, do not do this, young man or young lady. However, on a bus, a bus driver don't have that option. When they're driving with 50, 60 plus kids in the back and they're moving down the road, a fight occurs in the back, and a lot of times we get, well, that driver didn't help my child. Well, in that moment, we have to have the driver pull the bus to a safe location in order to make sure everyone's safety is in place. And by that time, yes, there's a lot that may have taken place. However, we want to make sure that everyone is safe until we can reach a safe location to get back to give that child or those student or any student that assistance that they need. So those are just some brief things that we have going on in transportation. And I can talk all day, but again, I just wanted to thank you for this opportunity. And at this time, I'll turn it over to Ms. Jasmine James.
Okay, I'm back again. This time to talk about future initiatives that we have going on in the Transportation Department. Like Mr. Scriven just said, we did request from the Department of Education an additional 5 regular ed buses and 2 special need buses due to the growth that we do have in our district on both the Richland Northeast side and the Killian side. The Tyler Drive RFID card pilot program, we're currently running that program at 2 of our elementary schools for the summer, Windsor Elementary and Sandlamper Elementary, which as of right now, there's no problem. So we're gonna keep thinking positive on that. The card readers were procured by the Department of Education at their cost, and then the student ID cards themselves were at the cost of the district. Now, in this video that we're going to show, it shows how the card readers work on a daily basis. What's in the video, we piloted this with our middle schools and high schools, and yeah, I'm gonna just let the video show y'all what we got going on here. So the student scans their card, their profile comes up on the tablet, and the driver is able to see whether that's that student or whether that student is using someone else's ID to get on the bus. We also have in the video where a student did not have their ID card, so the bus driver does have to go through their roster of assigned students on that bus to find that student and then load them on the bus. A positive about this, and which I think why we actually started using it, parents get notifications every time their student scans on or off the bus. So if they're trying to find their student after school, they can't say, oh, you didn't get on the bus, or hey, let's contact transportation to find out where my child is. They got off the bus. Where are they now? We don't know. In this second video, we have
In this second video, we're showing you what our drivers see when when a student is trying to get on a bus they have not been assigned to. So there's no student that can just try to hop on the bus and say, I'm going with my friend. No, you can't go with your friend today because you don't go on this bus. So that's what we have going on in transportation. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. This, I forgot to introduce, Frank Celestine is our manager at Richland Northeast. Eric Scriven is our manager at Killian Hub. We also have Laura Buger, who's our manager of our activity fleet, and Monique Dupree, who's our assistant. And Jasmine does all this. Y'all can see she's brilliant. She's fantastic. So it would have been a white slide with just pictures if it was me. So Jasmine's fantastic. With that, we'll turn it over to any to superintendent comments and questions.
Thank you. And thank you to our transportation team. You guys are awesome. And yes, the Tyler Ride ID, that's really going to help us as board members. As you know, at the beginning of the year, we always have, especially in elementary, those students that get confused and they might get on the wrong bus. And then we are frantically looking to make sure we find that student and get the student to the proper location. Well, with this technology, we'll be able to make sure that that does not happen and reduce those incidents, which will give our parents a sense of calm because they will know where their children are, which is very important to us. And then I'd like to also say, while they said the word bus driver, what did you tell me our new title was? Student Transportation Specialist. Thank you very much. Okay, they gave me a hard time last year about that. We are Student Transportation Specialists, Dr. Moore. So let's be consistent with our language. And with that, we'll turn it over to the board for questions.
Thank you so much. Board members, any questions?
Madam Chair, I do have one
Yes,
question.
Mr. Trapp.
And this is really a question that I would, for the community, but it looks like we transport just over half of our student population. Is that pretty close? Do we have a ballpark figure on what we spend a year on transportation to transport our students? And I'll tell you the reason I ask is I see a lot of times on social media and stuff, if there's anyone complaining about traffic around the school, there's always someone who will say, well, if y'all rode the bus, you wouldn't have to worry about that. Well, I want the public to understand that riding the bus, if we had twice the students, we'd have to have twice the buses, twice the drivers, therefore twice the money, basically. So I would be curious what we spend a year on transportation.
That's a great question, Mr. Trout. We can get that exact number, but as a reminder, the state owns all the buses in South Carolina. So those costs, all of the costs associated with the maintenance, the fleet, the maintenance, the gas, is all on the state. We have to pay, of course, we pay for the drivers, we pay their salaries, we get money from the state, but it's still, we pay for those salaries, pay for their health care, pay for the cameras, pay for the routing software, so all that kind of stuff. Now, I know there's been some talk about switching to, there's been a study, I believe, the Senate asked us to look at a cost analysis. We replied back to that. It would be a lot of money if we had to take on the buses. You could see just in our fleet right now, it's $150,000 starting with a 66-passenger bus. That doesn't include everything else, then the maintenance of that. So the 45 buses we maintain right now is over $1 million, at least $1 million a year, and that's just in the maintenance. We can get the information, more information for you.
Oh, that'd be great. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Board members, any other questions?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Dennis.
with that, could I also get that Senate thing as well, if they got that? And then the one question I did have about maintenance, and you don't have to answer this right now if you could just get it to me, but do we use the periodic, hourly, or delayed maintenance practices for our buses, or are we just, as it comes up, we go with it?
Yes, sir. We do use the periodically. We also, the buses are always in rotation on their maintenance. Just as early as today, I got an email that said, we just finished this bus, we're coming to pick up this bus. So they're always in rotation to ensure that all those buses are good to go and ready to run when it's time to go. Yes, sir.
Board members, any other questions? Well, I do have one. For the Tyler Drive ID, Does every student who ride the bus have a copy of one?
So all of the students in the district actually have that specialized ID card.
So every student?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then if they misplace that card, is there a fee?
At this time, we do not have a standard of procedure for that as of right now. So we're currently in the works during the summer since we don't have as many students transporting right now. But it is in the works, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, God. I think.
Just a
Mr.
quick
Anderson?
follow-up. First, to Mr. Dennis's question, every time they go on a bus or out, there's a pre and post check. So they've got checklists, tires, everything, you name it, that's pre and post check. And then the thing we're piloting this summer, so all students have had student IDs, especially at middle and high school. And so we've standardized that so they all look the same. The challenge, and while we're piloting this summer at 2 small schools summer, is a kindergartner with an ID. And so we're practicing this summer, and as Jasmine mentioned, it's knock on wood, so far it's going okay. So that's why we're still slowly getting the elementary aged out, because y'all know, I mean, it's a kindergartner doing an ID. So we're working through that, and we're going to work through and see how that works. We're working with Miss Newton, not Miss Footman, who's sitting beside Mr. Newton, and other principals on, sorry guys, on how that worked. But great question, Dr.
Okay,
Shaw.
thank you. And that's what I was curious about. Okay, Ms. Porter?
I just wanted to say, yes, they do pay for replacement IDs. I've paid for a couple. And, and I'm thinking if you're piloting this with our elementary students, I know how hard it was for a middle schooler. And the delays that we have usually in the first couple of weeks of school. I'm just hoping that there's a thorough plan on what that looks like, because watching the students scan and scan off, that's going to be a lot slower than the norm. So I am a little concerned about that, but good luck with all the IDs, and maybe that means they'll be more prepared for middle school.
Yes,
Less
ma'am.
money spent.
Great question, great question. We are working on the plan, but just to piggyback on a couple of things. One, in regards to students, we will not refuse a student getting on the bus in the mornings. And I think if my memory serves me correctly, in the meeting that I was in earlier this year, they are going to be working out the costs for the student at the school level. It will not be anything that transportation invites so far as for the price or setting that. But we will not refuse students transported in the mornings. The only time it may come in to just making sure we verify who the student is in the afternoon. But we encourage our drivers to also get to know our students, just like the classroom. Get to know your students. You know who they are. So when they come on the bus, they may have lost their ID, but I know that's Eric right there, and Eric rides this bus. So I can verify that, but we will not refuse students getting on the bus unless that ID is scanned and they actually have the ID and it's scanned and it's saying that they are not that one and the same person. So just want to make sure that's clear. We will not refuse students, especially in the mornings. Whether they have ID or not, we're going to transport them to their safe haven to school, and then we can figure all that out once we get there with the administration.
Board members, any other questions, comments? If not, thank you, guys.
Madam Chair, could I just add one thing?
Yes, absolutely.
I had the privilege of riding the bus this year, and I had not been on a school bus in many, 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 many days. We'll leave it at that. And it truly was a wonderful opportunity to get on the bus, to ride like the students, and see our drivers in action. It was a great experience, and I am looking forward to it. Ms. Strickland, the first day of school, I'll be riding the bus again with our bus drivers. Haven't decided which one. I think this time I was at Killian, so I have to go to R&E the next. I promised them I'd come to them next time. So I look forward to it.
Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. Moving on to item 9.0, agenda items for next meeting.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Our next regularly scheduled board meeting is June 24th, 2025. We will have a public input session for the 2025-2026 budget at 5 p.m. We will then have call to order for our regularly scheduled board meeting at 5:30 p.m., followed by approval of the agenda, and then release to executive session. During executive session, we will receive a receipt of legal advice, litigation update, student appeals, student admission request into the district's adult education program, employment recommendations and certified releases, and release back to public session at 6:30 p.m., followed by the inspirational moment and Pledge of Allegiance. We'll then move to our consent agenda, which would include approval of the consent agenda, approval of minutes from previous meetings, and classified employment releases and in-district transfers. We'll then have public participation, followed by voting on the executive session items of student appeals, student admission request into the district's adult education program, employment recommendations and certified releases, and as needed for items discussed in executive session. We'll then move to unfinished business, action requested. The board will receive the general fund budget for the 2025-2026. This will be the second reading of the budget. We will then move to new business, no action requested. We will look at the policy revision proposal for policy IKE, promotion and retention of students. Next, we'll move to new business, action requested. We'll talk about funding flexibility approval and the election of board officers for 2025-2026 school year. We'll review the agenda items for the July 8th, 2025 regularly scheduled board meeting, and then conclude with our if needed items of public participation, executive session, voting on executive session items, board and superintendent comments, and adjournment.
Board members, are there any revisions or additions you would like to see added to the next meeting or future agenda meeting? Seeing none, we will move over to board and superintendent's comments. We would start with Mrs. Washington.
Thank you so much. So yesterday I had the honor of hearing Principal, I call him Principal Dr. Kafele. And one of the things that he talked about in his presentation was the fact that culture can shift discipline problems in a school. And he honed on that a lot. He asked a variety of just self-reflective questions, and one of the things that I did is I took the questions and I revised them from my helicopter level. And so I just wanted to share a few of those questions, and it is, one of my questions to myself was, is our district better because of my leadership? What aspect of my practice has impacted the leader that I am selected to supervise? Our main priority is student achievement. Am I a part of creating a culture that encourages systems to be in place, a culture that increases student achievement, and a climate that says that we are an emotionally safe district that lives out the mission and vision, and is that evident through my leadership? So I want to say thank you to the Senior Chief of Academics and her entire staff for a great kickoff yesterday. I had the honor to hear the vision and where we're headed with reorganizing our foundation through systemic change that will impact our students for the years to come. So we are doing some great things in Richland too, and I am proud to be a part of that vision. Thank you all so much for coming out, and have a blessed evening.
Ms. Williams.
I'm going to keep it short this evening. So I just want to say thank you to everyone coming out. Love to have your support. Love to see how much you all are advocating for the things that you need. Continue to advocate. Also, just a reminder to remain safe this summer and to take advantage of our meals that are at schools. So please, parents and children, go stop by any of our sites that are supplying lunch and breakfast meals for your students. And be safe and have a great week.
Mr. Trapp.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I had two experiences in the last couple of weeks I want to share with everyone. First off, I had the opportunity to see Ms. Dawn Staley at a book signing a couple of weeks ago, and I'm so glad all you with the track are here, because I really, really think that she was just such an inspirational person, and I'm not a sports person. I really want to emphasize that my wife and myself, when we left from hearing her talk about her book, I was just inspired. So I really would encourage all of our students and parents for that matter too, this is a great book. I've only had a chance to look through it a little bit. I've been very busy, but very inspirational woman and a great background and story. Great privilege to be there that night. The other thing I'd just like to do is extend some gratitude to Brooklyn Baptist Church. They invited the board out this past Sunday to, what do we call the ceremony? Elevate? Cap and gown. I'm not a words person, I'm sorry. But it really is wonderful to see members of the community that are honoring and helping these young people as well as adults to reach to a greater height. And it's great to see these people moving up in school and graduating, and it was just a great opportunity to be invited to share in that experience. And I want to thank them for that and wish every one of you a good evening. Thanks.
Ms. Nash?
Okay, I'm going to keep it short, and I mean it. Thank you guys all for coming out and everybody watching online, and to Deputy McFarland and the Windsor Elementary Safety Patrol. Thank you so much for coming out. They also do forensic stuff, which is really amazing, and so that's really cool. So if you guys ever get a chance to do that, Safety Patrol, I was on Safety Patrol, and I had a yellow vest too, but I didn't keep it. We're going to have to talk about that, Dr. Scott. I don't know how you kept yours. But also to transportation. What an amazing presentation. Thank you all for all that you do. Sometimes people don't know how complex and challenging your job can be, but thank you for talking about what you do, but bringing the light of what you guys have to the table. So thank you very much, and everybody have a great evening.
Mr. Dennis?
Yeah, I wanted to thank the inspirational moment, Ms. McFarlane. Thank you very much. Thank you to the two young speakers that came up. Ladies, just remember, no matter what you want to do in life, you can do it. So you can continue to grow and become anything you want to be. I also want to thank all the speakers and everybody out here that came for public participation. Thank you for letting us know. Also, we are in something that Dr. Moore remembers called the 101 Days of Summer. So that's just called being safe in the summer. Don't do anything crazy. Make sure you're looking at stuff such as your grills and stuff. I want to see y'all all back at the beginning of school. And I think it's next week. Check your calendar with Richland too, but they are having an annual registration drive to help anybody that needs help with that. Other than that, that's all I got. Thank y'all.
Mrs. Porter?
Yes, I too wanted to thank Brooklyn Baptist for the invite to the student-centered service. It was great, and we also got to hear Dr. Moore speak as well. Thank you for that. You did a great job. And then I wanted to thank the Safety Patrol for the inspiration. Transportation, the leadership is definitely evident in the presentation that was given us today. We thank you, and I can tell that you all run a tight ship, and I know that I can count on the buses to be at a certain place at a certain time, which helps with our daily transportation to and from our schools for everyone. So thank you for all that you do and for all the drivers. Have a great one.
Dr. Moore?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So over the past week, I've had the privilege of attending several meaningful events that really truly reflect the spirit and excellence of Richland 2. And it starts with the baccalaureate service, last week's baccalaureate service at Journey United Methodist Church, and then the cap and gown service that was Sunday at Brooklyn Northeast were both powerful reminders of the bright future ahead of our graduates. It was truly inspiring to see our students celebrate in such heartfelt and community-centered ways, knowing that they have a community, a village of supporters that help make sure that they are successful. I also had the opportunity and the honor to give the commencement speech for South University's graduation. It was a humbling experience to share the words of encouragement with graduates as they step into their next chapter. The room was filled with hope, ambition, and the kind of energy that reminds you of why we do this work. And it was held at our Performing Arts Center, which made it even more special for me. Our first annual Instructional Leadership and Planning Conference was held. We started on Monday, June 9th. As Ms. Washington talked about, we kicked this meeting off, this leadership conference off with a focus around instructional leadership and planning. Will be an annual event for school and district leaders to plan for continuous improvement in the upcoming school year around critical priorities. And I had the honor of introducing our keynote speaker, Principal Kafili, who has been influential in my career because I read his books when I was an AP and a principal, and he helped shape the work that I did to turn my school around. He's been just a great role model for our community, our leaders, and he shared critical knowledge around the importance of being an instructional leader to ensure teacher and student success in the classroom. Principal Kafili stayed to chat with some of our principals, and he signed more than 120 books. So, this morning, school leadership teams took to learning from yesterday's academic department priority sessions and have started crafting their continuous improvement and professional development plans for 25-26 school year. And as Ms. Washington indicated, you know, I cast that vision. Ms. Jennifer over there, Ms. Morrison, picked it up and has carried the ball, and we are just so excited about the work that's taking place. Speaking of being excited and having some fun, we had a district picnic on the patio where we wrapped up the school year with our district personnel. It was a joyful celebration of another successful year and a chance to honor our amazing support staff at the district office and support centers. The threat of inclement weather meant that we had to take picnic on the patio and turn it into cookout in the conference center, but it was still a fun day. While the location changed, it really was a fun activity, a fun day filled with activities, and most importantly, fellowship, and the opportunity to thank those unsung heroes who are purpose-driven and work behind the scenes so that our students are future ready. So thank you to everyone that came out. Mr. Trapp already talked about Dawn Staley's book signing. I had the chance to attend that. It truly was an incredible event. I got to share a few things with her because we were actually neighbors. She grew up in Philly. I grew up in Chester, which is 20 minutes down the road on I-95. But most importantly, she talked about the power of motivation and how she went from living in the projects to being the coach that she is today, an Olympic medal winner, as well as a nationally recognized coach. Her story is truly inspirational, and I would encourage people to read her book. I want to also give a congratulations to our communications team. They will be recognized next month by the National School Public Relations Associations with 5 national awards for their work on the This Is Us campaign, the Free to Focus podcast, District Teacher of the Year, Rona Stewart, Center for Knowledge, and National Music in Our Schools Month. So thank you to Ms. Rush and her team for what they do every single day to highlight all of the amazing things happening in our district. And last but not least, I want to wish my Army family happy birthday. Our birthday is coming up this weekend as the oldest, the original force in the nation. For the military people, you'll get that. The other folks won't understand it, but the other services like to try to be the best, but we know who is the original and who is the best, the United States Army, and happy birthday. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Moore. I'll start by saying thank you to Operations, the Transportation Department. Thank you so much for that report. I think that was much needed because many times parents really don't know what's going on and what we have to offer. So thank you for giving us that great presentation. And then I want to say thank you to Dr. Franklin. You know, many times a lot of our people get recognized, but Dr. Franklin is someone who works really behind the scenes, but she does a lot of work. So, and we know how hard she worked. So I just want to publicly say thank you to Dr. Marshall and Franklin for all the work that you do, because people don't know that you do as much work as you do because you're the person that don't like to be in the forefront. So I'm putting you out front because I know that's not what you like. So I'm doing that. And then I want to say to all the students that's sitting in here, I want you to stand up for me. All of the students, stand. And then I want you to turn to an adult and clap. Give them a thank you. And I want you to do that because you guys just don't know how blessed you are to have adults who are willing and able and capable to come out here and be your advocates. So I want to say thank you to the parents that's here. Thank you to the supporters, because we don't get to see that very often. So I'm so excited to see you guys being advocates for what you feel your students need, want, and deserve. So thank you so much for that. Because we all know that an idle mind is a devil's workshop, or some people say a devil's playground. So I want to say thank you for that. And then I want to make note of something. And I think this is, well, before I do that, let me say, too, that you guys came on a very good night because we're getting out early. So very good for that. But I want to personally talk about something. A lot of times people see things that may occur at board meetings, and they take the information and they run with it. And a lot of times they don't have all of the details and the facts. And then especially media. I'm going to talk about the media because the media know I don't care. They always want to contact us if they think something negative is going on, but we don't really see them when positive things are going on. So I just want to, Dr. Stephen Peters, one of our presenters when we had a workshop, he came and he said, what we need to do is make sure we deliver the mail to the right mailbox. So I want to make sure we do that. A couple of things I want to talk about. On June 3rd, we had a special call board meeting. For that meeting, we were scheduled to actually discuss the agenda. Board members decided that we shouldn't do that. That's their right. Because they decided we shouldn't do that, we spent 5 minutes, well, actually 6 minutes here for a board meeting. I got a lot of feedback from the media. I received phone calls. I received emails wanting to talk about that. So let's talk about it, because you know I'm not afraid to talk. So let's talk about that, because I think some misinformation is out there about what we're doing and how we're doing it and how much money was spent. So for the record, and I think we do have some media here, so let's just get it straight. For the record, the food was $278.65. Safety officer for that night cost us $40, which would have been per hour, but we only did 6 minutes. 2 custodians, $60 would have been more had we gone a little longer. That came to $378.65. Now, board pay, almost $2,500, which is about $380 per board member. So the total for that night actually cost us $2,878.65. You know, it's a rumor out there saying that we spend about $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 on that night. No, we spent about $2,878.65. Am I happy and supportive of that? Absolutely not. And then, too, we had employees who actually came here and wanted to be a part of the meeting and some online. But let me just set the record straight, and I'll speak for myself because I'm going to deliver the mail in my mailbox. Because we would have been paid almost $400 for that meeting, I immediately contacted district office and told them that I'd defer my payment because I wanted to be respectful of the taxpayers' money. So I can only speak for myself, but I think it's important to say that because media have been contacting me as the chair, and as I shared with many of them, contact the people who voted no, not to have the meeting. Don't contact me because I did what I felt was right, and I believe they did what they felt was right. So if you want the mail, go to the person who you need to have those questions with. So again, we did not spend $8,000 or $10,000 for a meeting. That meeting cost us about $2,878.65. And you can subtract the $400 that I returned back to the district because I asked that they not pay me. So I truly believe that if you want to know the information correctly, then you have to go to that person to find out, and especially with media. So if we have media here tonight or watching, I hope you see all these beautiful young people here. Why don't you talk with them and ask them about their school year, ask them about what they're doing for the summer, and write a story of inspiration of what Richland 2 are doing with our students. And with that, then Richland too has to be accountable too. Because if we have all these students here and they're coming because they feel like they've been denied things, then we need to see how we can come to a happy medium. Because we've already said we want to make sure that our students are busy during the summer, because we all know that they're out during the summer. We want to make sure they're involved, they're active, they're doing something positive, so the media can write about that, okay? So I hope, Dr. Moore, I'm going to challenge you on this one. I hope that you and your team can find a way to see what we can do for these young people to make sure that we give the media something positive to write about this summer with Richland 2. With that being said, I would take a motion for adjournment.
Madam Chair, may I have a point of personal privilege?
Absolutely.
I just wanted to make sure that we, because it's an off week for us, that we acknowledge your birthday that's coming up this coming Sunday. So,
Almost knocking on 60.
with such pride. So happy birthday to our board chair, Dr. Monica Elkins.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mrs. Porter. I do appreciate that.
You want us to sing?
No. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Dennis.
I move to adjourn the June 10th, 2025 regular board meeting.
The motion has been made by Mr. Dennis. Is there a second?
Second.
The motion has been made by Mr. Dennis and seconded by Mrs. Williams. Is there any discussion? Board members, any discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Do we need to do a hand vote? Okay, let's do a hand vote on this. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, 7 yes, 0 no. The motion passes. The meeting is adjourned.